Hello and welcome to Courage to Overcome. On this podcast, I'll be talking about emotionally destructive relationships and narcissistic behavioral patterns from a Christian biblical perspective with a bit of psychology. So today, I just want to talk about, just stop trying to explain your situation to everyone. Now, this message is for those who are in toxic relationships or have left toxic relationships, and basically any other person who is in an unfavorable circumstance. So, stop trying to explain your situation to people who will never understand. Everyone is not going to understand. Everyone is not going to get it. And they may not want to understand. It's really difficult to explain to people who have never experienced narcissistic abuse or been involved with a narcissist, especially to Christian folks. You know, like if you're divorced or you're separated or whatever, they wonder why you couldn't make it work. Why did you divorce? Why did you have to separate? God hates divorce. Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? They can be extremely judgmental and unhelpful. And even your family will find it difficult to understand, especially when you've been involved with a covert narcissist, because all they've seen is his good and charming side. They haven't seen the insults, the gaslighting, the triangulation. They haven't seen all of that side, and so they will not understand or believe they will find it really hard to believe the emotional turmoil you had to endure. For me, I was very fortunate as I had people around me who understood, but it wasn't like that from the beginning. In the beginning, I had a situation where I wasn't really believed at all. I wasn't just my family. I wasn't believed at all. When I explained the situation to my mom, she didn't want me to get a divorce. She kept saying, don't divorce. But then when we separated and his nasty character was revealed to them, thank goodness for that, it was just, if it hadn't been revealed, they would have found it really hard to understand, but it was revealed. Even during the time my brother died, the way he behaved was really terrible. And my parents, my family, they all saw it. So they could understand because he revealed his character. So when I got divorced and told my friends, I avoided having to discuss it, most especially with my friend's husband, who is a pastor. He wanted to speak to me about it. But then I told my friend at the time that, I didn't really want to discuss with him at all because I just felt that he was not going to get it at all. And because I've been on the forums, all these narcissist forums, and I've read how difficult it is and how, the experience other people have had about having to try and explain and, talk about their experiences and people just not understanding. I just didn't feel comfortable having to share my experience. And then when I became sick, and then he called me, I was in the hospital, he called me, and, we spoke about my sickness, and then eventually we got to the divorce and everything, and I was very reluctant. I could hear, I'm sure you must have known that I was really reluctant about discussing it with him because I really didn't want to, I just wasn't in a really good place. I was sick and I just didn't really, but when I tried to explain the best way I could, he immediately understood because he had a member of his congregation going through the same thing. And he explained her situation with me. And he got it because somebody else was going through the same thing. And the thing about that was he didn't actually believe her. It was another female member of his congregation, married to a covert narcissist. He didn't understand when she told him what she was going through until she heard a recording. She recorded her husband, and then he got it. So it's difficult. It's so difficult, you know. And then I have another friend who is also a pastor. I explained what was happening to me to this friend, and she got it because her sister had gone through the same thing as well. In fact, the sister is divorced right now from her narcissistic husband because she was going through the same thing. So she got it because her sister had gone through the same thing. So, and you know, it's probably different from other people. I was fortunate because I had people in my life who understood because of experience, either indirectly or directly experiencing this narcissistic behavior, you know. So for other people, may be different for them, and you know, it's okay. There is nothing that you can say that will make people understand. If they've not experienced it directly or indirectly, there's nothing that you can say that will make them understand. Just don't bother with those people. You don't have to try to explain yourself to them, as they will never get it, and you are not under any obligation to do so. You've already come out of a toxic situation where you have tried to explain yourself to your toxic partner over and over after being gaslit over and over, trying to get his approval. You don't need to do that again outside of the relationship. It's almost like you are re-traumatizing yourself. And I know there is the feeling that you need people to accept your explanation and to believe you, because you want people to believe you are telling the truth. And sometimes there is still the need to be accepted and approved by other people. But you have to realize that people may not accept your explanation, and you have to be okay with that. If they don't want to accept your decision, that's fine. Move on with your life. You don't need their acceptance or approval. God has accepted you, and that's all that matters. And God will bring people into your life that will accept you for who you are. You don't have to continually explain yourself. Let them accept what they think about you. Let them think what they think about you. Don't try to control what people think about you. In fact, you can't even do that. People will think what they think, and that's okay. You really do not need to explain yourself to everyone. Never feel the need to explain your situation to everyone. People are not going to side with you or take your version of events. Remember, the narcissist is going to tell them his lies, and depending on the relationship they have with him, they may take his side, and that's okay. You should be okay with that. Or they may behave like flying monkeys and say that you are the problem. That's not okay for them to do that, but you need to be okay with that as well. And just keep it moving. There are people who will take his side and people who will take your side. That's life. It's not an indication that you are wrong or bad. That is their own perception, and it doesn't take away from who you are as a person. If they're going to be toxic about it, just set boundaries. Keep your peace and your distance. Let people believe what they want to believe. It's not your responsibility to change their minds. Their negative opinions about your situation should not matter to you and are unimportant. Stop investing time and energy to convince them. Guard your peace. Guard your peace and guard your heart. Guard your spirit. You know, the day after my husband left the house, as I was praying in the morning, the Lord dropped a scripture in my spirit, you know, and it was like old things. I think it's in 2 Corinthians. Old things have passed away. Behold, all things are new. That's what God dropped in my spirit. And I felt a sense of peace in my spirit when I heard that. because it was like the Lord was telling me to put everything that happened behind me and start afresh and start anew. And that's what I'm going to do. And you should too. Time for you to start afresh and start anew. I hope you found this episode informative. I hope to meet with you again in my next episode. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.